at Ralf's Automotive. I got a 2016 Dodge Grand Caravan out there. We're gonna do a thermostat. I'll get you a shot of the parts that I got. I'll use distilled water. I got the full strength Mopar coolant, and there is your part. Get that in the shot right there, and whew, almost dropped it. That's what it is. This here is a high failure item on these vehicles, and you can get the thermostat only, but I normally, these things here are rather inexpensive. I generally put the genuine housing and all that good stuff, the full assembly, put it in. There is a code usually associated with it. What it doesn't like, there's a problem with the correlation between how long it takes the vehicle to heat up. So anyway, I'm going to bring you along for that. I guess something I could show you. I've had I pulled the wheel off of this thing the other day, and we had talked about the balance, you know, on the wheels. I was looking at brakes. I throwed it on my balancer, and I seen it was out quite a bit. As a matter of fact, it was out, the driver's side front right here was out about an ounce. And I bring it along, and what it amounts to, the lady told me that she doesn't feel vibration while I just driven the car. And I actually went one step further. I didn't want to, it does have a vibration that I can feel. It is not very hard vibration, and I just wanted to show you this, guys, because I don't know if I made a video with that. I think I might have briefly did a video on this. What I got going on here is I got my Pico scope hooked up, and I've got a Pico NVH hooked up, you know, and this is what the graph section of it actually looks like. It shows tire and engine vibrations. You know, it actually, you can see it on the screen. I got the engine still idling, and they give you a guide on what is bad and what's not bad. You see right there on the screen, it gives you a frequency in which is vibrating, and I can definitely tell there is a vibration. It's faint, it's not a lot, and I use Elm 322. These things here, I pick them up on eBay. You know, it works perfectly fine with the Pico. Had a problem with it wanting to read out in kilometers instead of miles, but got that corrected. And anyway, I just wanted to show you this, and the sensor is on the seat back there. I'll go ahead and pull it. It's actually a gadget. I do have the ability to do a drive shaft as well, as I've got the optical sensor along with it. So there's a cable, and you go to the front seat rail, and what it is this G sensor right here. The hole points forward, and that way it knows what axis we're working on. But like I said, I just wanted to bring you all along and show you that part of it anyway. I don't know if I had shown it or not, don't remember. Don't matter. I'm going to re-show it to you if I did. I got to just finish up the car that I got on the rack, and I'm going to pull the other one in, go ahead and get my stuff out of it, turn it off, of course. I'm going to let it idle, but anyway, I'll be back with you in just a minute. I just realized I goofed up. I didn't finish the story. Anyway, I spun that wheel, and the reason I actually opted to go ahead and hook that NVH up is because I wanted to make sure this balancer is calibrated. I want to make sure, for whatever reason, there wasn't something fishy going on with my balancer. I started, she swore high and low that the vehicle wasn't shaking, you know, and you know, an ounce, that's quite a lot. I thought, you know, that it's got to shake. Either that or there's something terribly wrong with my balancer here. And I try to keep it calibrated every time. I don't do it every time I use it. You know, if it's been used a couple of times, I don't balance it every time. Maybe you should. Maybe most people that I know don't. But anyway, I figured I had that in there. Okay, did a quick spin balance on these wheels here. We've got that taken care of. You're going to end up getting, and no, right from the start, I am not going to diagnose this. No need in it. These are, it's a common issue with the Chrysler. So take it or leave it. You don't have to watch the video if you want to. P0128. It's thermostat rationality, and what it means is basically the computer is going through a cycle and is calculating how long it takes the vehicle to get to a certain temperature. I'm not going to say operating temperature. I don't know what the exact parameter is, but anyway, the vehicle will look for a certain time frame in which this engine should heat up, and if this time frame ain't met, it will throw that code, and 99.9% of the time, there you go, that's what it is. It's the thermostat housing. These things are cheap. It's not that big of a deal to put them on. So if anybody wants to go diagnose it, be my guest. I'm not going to. We're gonna put the housing on here, get all the coolant out, put fresh coolant in it. I'm going to use a funnel this time. I'm going to use a stack. I'm going to put the pipes on it, show you that here in a minute. But anyway, I have not drained the coolant yet. This thing has been blistering hot. It's actually turned pretty hot outside today here. So a lot of people, you know, I always tell you, I like to take stuff out of the way when I do things, you know, so we can take the air box and all that good stuff out. We can actually do all that, or for today, we're just going to skip that part, and I'm just going to loosen up the power steering over here, set it off to the side, make sure we ain't making a mess with it, and reach our hand in there. It's on the back here. I'm gonna go ahead get the drain and the coolant out of here, get it drained out, and I'll turn the camera back on. No need me showing that part, I don't think. It does have a petcock on the driver's side on the bottom of the radiator. There is a drain pipe there, so there is a plug there so you can drain your radiator. We'll use that, and of course we're going to lose some coolant out of the engine as well. Not going to do a full-on flush in here. This vehicle here has got just over 100 or a little less than 100. I ain't looked yet, but we can replenish all the coolant, and that should be good enough. One thing I'm going to share with you, or actually two things I'm going to share with you. A, when you're draining your radiator, make sure your radiator cap actually is off, and I will be telling the customer to stop by Chrysler and they can get one themselves. This radiator cap is leaking. It's got the coolant residue on top of it, so I'm going to make the customer replace it. The other thing, part number two, as far as this code is concerned, to the best of my knowledge, may be wrong, it takes 2 cycles for the computer to relearn, and we're not going to I'm not going to clear the codes. That code will actually clear itself. If the problem is fixed, that code will clear itself, and I'm going to make the customer aware of that as well. If we fix the problem, that code will go away, because that code is instantly back. We've cleared it before, and it comes back right away. So we know at that point in time, if I messed up, and I didn't fix the vehicle, well, we'll know about it right away. Okay, still going to make a little bit of a mess. As I said, I drained the radiator out. I do like these little drain pans. I think I picked them up at the O'Reilly. They got them down there, and probably many other places. I'm just saying, I think I got these at the O'Reilly. They're really cheap. Don't know what we're missing down there, but anyway. One M8 or 13 millimeter nuts. We pull this over here off to the side, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to fight this thing at all, because I don't feel like fighting anything right now. To hold that back here out of my way, I'm just going to put a zip tie on it. Harbor Freight, these things don't cost nothing. Well, not nothing, you know what I mean, they're cheap. They're so cheap I'm not going to worry about using a zip tie is what I'm saying. It's coming, I put the thing on the wrong way, I can't believe that. Kept thinking, why in the world is that not sticking? I don't know why now. There we go. We'll get that pulled over here with a zip tie. That way I'm not fighting it. As I mentioned before, look at your part. The part is right over here off to the side. You can't miss it. It's really almost no need me showing you. Let me get a light. Almost no need in me showing you because you cannot miss it. Let me flip that screen around so we can see right there. Accidentally hit that zoom button. I didn't mean to do that. Trying to tighten the stand up, but yeah, right there. So 2 bolts, one of them you can already see. Not a big deal. It really isn't. We can loosen the clamp now, loosen the clamp later. It don't matter. As I said, it's not that big of a deal at all. Only thing that I might run into is a problem with getting the clamp I'm going to have to switch to an actual set of hose clamp pliers. I generally use this style right here, if anybody is interested. Really needed to do that left-handed. Something wrong with my hand. Don't know what. Got no strength in it. I think I'm draining in the drain pan. I don't know. I'm draining somewhere. I think I hear the drain pan. That's okay. So, 6mm bolt on the thermostat, or otherwise, or not otherwise, but 10mm socket, deep weld. That's what you're going to pull out of it, times 2. Old thermostat. Pay attention what you're doing. The seal didn't come with it, it's hanging on the side. One seal. Like I said, I don't know I'm not saying it does not work, but I don't recommend getting just a thermostat and trying to get the thermostat in the housing. These things are cheap. I wouldn't chance it. You know, the whole housing, they generally, it's such a common problem that they normally keep those in stock. They have like 2 or 3 of them. Or they had 2 or 3 of them down there when I picked this one up, so shouldn't have no problem finding it, is I guess what I was getting at. Now, although they have metal ring back in the bolts, don't go gorilla on these bolts. I will put, if I remember, I will put the information in the description. They have these split metal rings in there, and what that does, it's supposed to prevent you from breaking the plastic, but that don't always work that way. If you go too tight on them, it will still break the plastic, and you're going to be out of luck basically. No sealant on the threads, none of it is required. Trying to be extra careful here. I'm working with that long snap-on. That thing will put some serious torque before you know it. Sorry about that, guys. It's not difficult to do this. It's just my hand is not operating at all. It's just not wanting to do what I need it to do. Right now I barely can hold on to a cheeseburger with the damn thing. Got to regroup here. Oh, man. See if I can make it happen with this. I don't know. I don't know if I can. We'll try it. This is the time where I would normally say I should have removed that air cleaner. It'd have been done, but I just wanted to show you that you can do it without removing it. But like I said, it's not that this can't be done. It's just not, my hand is just not cooperating the way I want it to. You know, that's the only reason I'm struggling. Or else that would be a really easy job. Well, this ain't gonna work either. Go ahead, I'm getting hung up every which way. Are you shy? Get this air cleaner off of here. Take a quick look. Oh, I missed that one. What? Okay, air filter housing, it unclips. Just pull it out. Ta-da! All kinds of room now. Should be able to get my hand in there just fine right now. Probably not the brightest idea I've ever had to try to show you that it can be done without moving that. But anyway. There is pegs that the air cleaner housing sits on, which is, this was fine anyway, because this way I know what the air filter looks like. I am the one that does the service on the car, so, and that part I hadn't looked at, so now we know that part too, so basically killed two birds with one stone anyhow. So when you're installing these, give you a quick tip. A lot of people ruin them. They try to shove and force. You got to lift it up. You got to elevate it into an angle. Slip the fingers in and then fold it down. That way you don't get your air filter all messed up, and it'll go right back the way it's supposed to. Three clips on these. No big deal there. Tighten it back up first. $8 mil, by the way. 5/16, 8 mil, both will work. Both will work fine. Power steering, put it back where it came from. Put the nut back on it. So that part is done. Now I was going to show you. As I said, I'm going to use my funnel today. Well, if I got an adapter, that is. Yep, I found one, and what I'm going to do here, and I showed this funnel here in previous videos, spill free. I've had it for quite some time. Actually, them things work pretty good. I need to get me actually another one ordered in case, just in case. Don't never know. So I'm gonna, man, I'm not gonna lay on the floor. I'm gonna lift the vehicle real quick. Close that petcock on the bottom of it. Actually, I just go ahead real quick, disconnect the scan tool while I had it in my mind. Made a little bit of a mess, not bad at all. Missed a little bit on the floor right there. I don't think that's a big deal. And while we're over here, give you a quick look-see. We'll turn this camera around, make sure we get this right there, that red one. That's it. Close it back off. We caught quite an extra amount of additional fluid. I knew it would come out once I opened the system up. Start taking the thermostat off or something, you know, that'll open the system completely up. So get a little bit of this oil dry up here on this, so just in case I step in it, I don't step in a puddle. I like using the sawdust, by the way. It's called Nature's Broom. It doesn't weigh anything. We get a new bag of it, and I think, as a lot of people know, that that sawdust will really absorb. You know, it doesn't matter what it is, water, oil. It doesn't care. It sucks it up. So once again, check that one more time. Make sure we got it all tightened up. Once again, I'm fairly certain I mentioned that earlier. We are going to put the genuine coolant back into the vehicle. You know, as somebody that does this at a professional level, we don't want to take a chance on using universal. Universal work just fine. I'm not saying it doesn't work. You know, I'm sure there is probably millions of people that use it all the time, and it works perfectly fine. But like I said, this stuff here, you know, for what it cost me, it's not that much more expensive, and it certainly wouldn't void a warranty on a vehicle. So I'm not even going to think about it. Normally, you know, if I can get a Dex Cool or the Chrysler coolant or a Honda, whatever the case may be, that's what we'll do. So we'll add the coolant to it. We've got a lot of head pressure. Basically, what it really amounts to, there's a lot of head pressure when you have that funnel installed like that. There's a lot of fluid pressure pushing down, and you see how it bubbles out. I've used these in the past on these vehicles here. Generally, I don't have a problem with it creating air pockets. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but with this funnel, I've never had that problem. So I'm not going to go ahead and show the process. Me starting the vehicle up, putting the distilled water in it too. You know, I basically know, I've done this a couple of times, so I know how much it actually goes in there. Plus, I can take a refractometer and check this later on. May or may not, we don't get super accurate at any point in time. I like to get close, as close as I can, but I'm not going to spend 6 hours having to charge customer to get something just perfect. Okay, so anyway, I end the video right here, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do what it is you do. Till next time. Real quick, before I end the video, I want to add something in there. So I finished the vehicle up. The vehicle went as expected, you know, didn't have no problem burping, and I got about 3 or 4 cycles of thermostat. Good to go. Temperature seems pretty stable. Did come up a little bit from where it was, so that's actually a good thing. So getting back to the antifreeze, you know, I kind of left it a little bit vague, so I'm going to add a little bit something to it. So here's the deal on the antifreeze. You know, before people go all berserk on the mixing it 50-50, 50-50 mix, that's that's not a law. Okay, so we can do 40%, we can do 50%, we can do 60%. The only thing is, most all your manufacturer will recommend not to ever go above 70% of antifreeze. You do want some of the distilled water in there for sure, but it's not rocket science. The van actually ended up at 33. So, I mean, we're good there. Just not to say almost perfect, but anyway, I just figured I'd add that in there real quick. You know, I know some of you guys, they really want to go all out and just nitpick things to death. So, you know, that being said, you know, just look at the write-ups from the manufacturer. If you don't believe me, don't want to take my word for it. Just look at the write-ups they give you, and you'll see what I'm telling you is the truth.